There are explosive new revelations from the investigation into the near assassination of President Trump just a few weeks ago. We know that there were massive security lapses. The Secret Service has finally admitted that this was a colossal failure. We are now learning that the shooter was rather sophisticated. We know that the shooter had a drone over the site to scope out the whole area where President Trump was going to be speaking. We know that the Secret Service did not use drones. Kind of a basic technology these days. The 20-year-old shooter used this technology. The U.S. Secret Service didn't. And what we've now discovered, thanks to a grilling from Senator Josh Hawley, a grilling of one of the deputy directors of the FBI, we know that the Secret Service was offered the use of drones and turned it down.
That seems like a pretty basic fact. I'm also told that local law enforcement suppliers offered the Secret Service drones and you declined them. Is that true?
So, Senator, one, I've been very transparent and forthcoming.
Your agency has not been transparent and forthcoming, so please, let's not go there.
I have been forthcoming, sir.
That remains to be seen. You've been on the job a few days. So far, you've fired nobody. Now, the drones.
Thank you,
Were
sir.
you offered drones?
Senator Hawley.
So there was an offer to fly a drone on that day.
And why did you deny it?
I think the ability of local law enforcement to provide an asset, we probably should have taken them up on it if it was offered.
Whoa. What an admission. So we were offered the drone. We turned it down. I have no explanation for why we turned it down. Yeah, oopsie daisy. Actually, I guess we probably should have used it. I love Hawley's smackdown of, sir, I've been very forthcoming. Actually, your agency lied, and you've been on the job for 5 minutes, so spare me. There's zero evidence that you guys have been forthcoming. There's a lot of evidence that you haven't been. We don't know anything about you, Deputy Director, other than you don't have an answer to a basic question. Why did you turn down a basic security measure? Why did you reject it? Because it would be one thing if the Secret Service came out and said, we just didn't think those were necessary. We didn't want to use drones on that day. Local law enforcement offered it to us. We said, we don't need that. We don't want that. But we found out in testimony that the Secret Service actually did want to use drones, and something about their drone technology on that particular day in Pennsylvania just didn't work.
Director Rowe, can you explain why the shooter's drone worked?
Because there was no counter-UAS present, sir.
Well, you had a drone system, but you had bandwidth problems. The bandwidth apparently was adequate for the shooter's drone, but not for the Secret Service. Can you explain that?
I have no explanation for it, sir.
We also know that in a military context, electronic warfare or jamming capabilities are commonly used on the battlefield. Does the Secret Service have jamming capabilities or drones?
We have drones, sir, and when it comes to, I have to be very careful about how I answer this one in an open forum. What I can tell you is that we have technical security measures, sir, to address, I think, what you're asking me.
Huh? Hold on. Wait. You're telling me that this 20-year-old kid that we know nothing about, we'll get to now, there's even more revelations about how little we know about this guy coming from the government, but this 20-year-old kid that we know nothing about, some apparent total loser, loner, weirdo, that word's become popular lately, just we don't know anything about him. He was able to get his drone off the ground, but the United States Secret Service wasn't able to do the same? That the 20-year-old lone gunman that we know nothing about had better technology, more functional technology than the U.S. Secret Service. And then on top of that, when your drones didn't work, local law enforcement offered you the use of their drones. And you said, no, we're good. We're good, actually. No, thanks. And you testify that you have no explanation as to how that happened, how the drones didn't work, how your drone systems broadly didn't work, and why you would turn it down from local law enforcement. You got nothing? But you're so forthcoming? Something is really, really weird about these explanations. We'll get to that and more in 1 second. First, though, right now go to expressvpn.com/Michael Knowles Show. Huge tech companies in America pay next to nothing in taxes, meaning they barely give anything back to the society that made them rich. They may not do a lot of giving, but they sure do a lot of taking. For instance, they take your personal data and sell it off to the highest bidder. That is why I recommend using ExpressVPN every time you go online. All of your online activity is tracked by these giant corporations. Using your public IP address, they can uniquely match your activity to your location. But ExpressVPN makes you anonymous by camouflaging your IP address and replacing it with a different, secure IP of your choice. ExpressVPN also encrypts all of your data so that it's protected from hackers and anyone else that's trying to spy on you. What I like most about ExpressVPN is how easy it is to use. You just download the app on your phone or computer, you tap one button, you're protected. If you're like me, you believe your internet data belong to you, not to greedy corporations, then ExpressVPN is the answer. Protect your data with the #1 rated VPN provider today. ExpressVPN.com/Michael Knowles Show. Get 3 months free on a 1-year package. ExpressVPN.com/Michael Knowles Show. ExpressVPN.com/Michael Knowles Show to learn more. Remember last week, the FBI Director Christopher Wray came out and he said that he didn't know if Trump was even shot by a bullet. Remember that? Wray comes out and says, corrects legislators and says, well, actually, we don't know. There's some question. Was Trump hit by shrapnel? Was it a shard of something? Oh, we don't even know if he was really shot. And the American public said, hold on, we saw him get shot. We heard the gunshot go off. We saw him get shot. You can even, if you look at the photo, you can see the bullet going out of his ear. You're telling me, FBI director, that now we shouldn't believe our lying eyes, that Trump wasn't really shot? So the FBI deputy director is asked about this, and he comes clean.
Deputy director of the FBI, is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
Is there any doubt in your mind or in the collective mind of the FBI that President Trump was shot in the ear by a bullet fired by the assassin crooks?
Senator, there is absolutely no doubt in the FBI's mind whether former President Trump was hit with a bullet and wounded in the ear. No doubt, there never has been.
Okay.
I've been part of this investigation since the very beginning, and that has never been raised.
You're sure?
Yes.
It wasn't a space laser.
No.
It wasn't a murder hornet.
Absolutely not.
It wasn't Sasquatch.
No, Senator.
It was a bullet.
It was a bullet, Senator. 100%.
Fired by crooks.
Yes, sir.
That hit President Trump in the ear and almost killed him.
100%, Senator.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Okay. Love it. Love Senator Kennedy here and love the clarity from this deputy director of the FBI. There's no question that Trump was shot with a bullet, and there never was. So does that mean the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, was lying? It means one of two things. It means this man is so ignorant, so totally incompetent that he doesn't know the most basic facts of the most important matter that's come before the FBI in decades, or he lied. That's all it can mean. Or this deputy director's lying, and all of our eyes are lying because we didn't really see Trump get shot. Stinks to high heaven. But then on top of that, here is the cherry on top that really makes this whole thing look weird. The FBI is now claiming, reportedly, that the shooter had one social media account. Remember, we were told he's got no social media trace. And a lot of people reacted to that. They said, hold on, you're telling me a 20-year-old in the year of our Lord, 2024, doesn't have any social media? Doesn't make any sense. No one believes that. Everybody has a social media trace. Well, okay, now they're saying he had this one social media account, and it shows that he was anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic. So Andrew Torba, who is the head of Gab, one of these right-wing social media platforms, he came out and he said, look, I don't usually disclose law enforcement requests that we get, but in this case, it's a matter of such public opinion, I will, though I'll redact it somewhat. But yeah, they're talking about us. Apparently, it's our platform that this shooter had the social media account on, and they're not telling you the truth about it. Torba says, this description that the shooter was anti-immigrant, anti-Semitic, this is not consistent with Gabb's understanding of the shooter's motives based on an emergency disclosure request we received from the FBI last week for the Gabb account Epic Microwave, which, based on the content of the emergency disclosure request, the FBI appeared to think belonged to Thomas Crooks, the shooter. The account for which data was requested was unequivocally pro-Biden, and in particular, pro-Biden's immigration policy. To the best of Gabb's knowledge, as of 2021, Crooks was a pro-lockdown, pro-immigration, left-wing Joe Biden supporter. That would be consistent with the shooter making his only political donation ever to a left-wing Democrat group, though it's still inconsistent with the fact that the shooter was apparently registered as a Republican. But that's what we're hearing from social media. Now, I don't know. I don't know who's telling the truth. But I know something's real fishy. And what is fishy is not that someone tried to shoot Trump. That's not fishy at all. The leading Democrats in America established the premise that justifies an assassination of Trump years ago, and they've been repeating it for years. For years, the leading Democrats, up to and including Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, have said that Trump is Hitler, he models his career after Hitler, he wants to do things that Hitler did, and he poses an existential threat to our country. That premise, which is false, but that premise, if it were true, would justify assassinating Trump. Unless you think we should go soft on Hitler. Unless you think, no, actually, Hitler's a nice guy, we should just talk to him. Unless you think that a country shouldn't defend itself against an existential threat. Existential. So it's not fishy that someone tried to shoot Trump. That's what the Democrats' language has been leading toward for many years. What's fishy is that the U.S. Secret Service and the FBI have been caught lying about it. In the case of the FBI, perhaps multiple times. The Secret Service came out and said, Trump did not ask for more security. That was a lie. We found out that Trump did request more security, and those security requests were denied. So the Secret Service was lying. That looks like a cover-up. The FBI has been caught lying. The director of the FBI said maybe Trump wasn't even shot. The deputy director comes out and says, we have always known that Trump was shot. It has never even been a possibility that crossed our minds that Trump was not shot. So that's a lie. Now, the FBI is claiming that the shooter had the social media profile that said one thing. The man who runs the social media network says that's not actually what his profile said. That looks like another lie. What's so fishy is not that a controversial politician was assassinated or was nearly assassinated. What's fishy is these major U.S. government institutions, the Secret Service and the FBI, have lied about it. At least once each, maybe twice in the case of the FBI. Why are they lying? What are they covering up? Could be that they're covering up their own incompetence. Or it could be more nefarious. All I know is every time they lie, every time they try to cover something up, it looks a lot worse for them. That was a great clip. Now, hold up, ring the bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.